Hello, everybody. I'm your local weather authority, Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates, talking about the potential for some strong tornadoes across central Illinois as we go through this afternoon and early evening. A tornado watch is in effect until 9 p.m. tonight for all areas shaded in yellow, which is about 98% of our viewing area. We've got some tornado-warned storms heading into Knox County. You can see the storms off in the distance. They are moving in. They have had a history of producing some tornadoes across eastern parts of Iowa. The storms now that we're watching continue to track east of the Mississippi River and are beginning to move in. One tornado warning for Des Moines, Henderson, and Lee counties until 2:45 p.m. The thunderstorm that we are now most concerned about is the one that is now beginning to impact the Monmouth area, and that's the one that's going to have the greatest potential, at least initially, to produce some activity closer to Galesburg. So you can see we've had some strong rotation already aloft with the storm system. I'm going to switch the radar over just a little bit, give you a better idea of what's going on, so bear with me. But we do expect this activity to continue to push east as we go through this evening. Getting a few updates here from the National Weather Service. Looks like we've got tornado warnings up near Chicago. We've also got tornado warnings coming in from just to our west. Give you an idea where these storms are. There's Galesburg, and the tornado warned cells are off to the west there. I'm trying to switch this palette over here to turn on one of our radar sites. So it looks like what we're seeing here, the scanning is a little high up into the storm, so I'm going to adjust that so that we can get to a lower altitude of the storm, make that a little more cleared so you guys can all at home see where that rotation is located at. So that's going to fire up here in a second. So again, tornado warning continues until 2:45 p.m. for some counties to our west. Change that radar over. Yeah, we do have a tornado warned cell. It's still not including Knox County, but it is getting awfully close. The couplet with this tornado or potential tornado is there just to the southwest of Monmouth by about, let me give you an estimate distance. It's about 8 to 9 miles to the southwest of Monmouth, showing some rotation. We've had a whole group of cells that have shown rotation as these storms have moved in, and they are moving east. According to the National Weather Service calculations, they are moving east now at 25 miles per hour. So we'll go ahead and time that out. This is going to put it into the Abingdon area around 3:07. There's some other rotation further west with a storm that has a history near Burlington, Iowa, of producing a tornado. That's going to be lagging behind it, also moving to the east at 25 miles per hour. And then that one will be another round heading towards Abington at 3:45. So again, no storms immediately in the central Illinois area. But we do have some storms coming in that are capable of producing tornadoes. Tornado watch continues for all of central Illinois through 9 p.m. tonight. There is a risk of strong tornadoes, and by strong tornadoes we mean EF2 or higher, given the amount of shear that we have across the area today. And you can continue to watch this live stream on our Facebook page and on our website, ciproud.com. And we'll keep you updated as this activity continues to move in. We're also getting some new cells developing ahead of this, and so each of these will have the potential to becoming something much larger as the storms move on through. For those of you who are watching, I'm going to go ahead and pin this to the top of our Facebook page, for those of you watching on Facebook. Because we will be submitting other warnings as the afternoon goes on, and we don't want to get this stream lost behind all that stuff. So this will be pinned to the top of our page on WMBD. I will also have this pinned and shared on my personal or my page as well. If you guys have any storm reports, again, there's a new tornado warning now issued for Warren County. That was that couplet southwest of Monmouth that triggered that. If you've got anybody in the Monmouth area, you may want to alert them, tell them they need to be seeking shelter immediately. This does not include Knox County, but Galesburg, we're watching these storms heading into your area. Give you a live look now in Galesburg. In fact, in the control room, if you guys would like to take Max 2, we can show them the live view in Galesburg. So there's what it currently looks like in Galesburg, overcast skies. It looks like we've got a pretty good breeze coming out of the south. And we'll see how these storms track. It looks like there's they're tracking east to the northeast, so this is going to come through the Galesburg area. If we want to switch back over to Max 1. Thank you. And we got Lauren Rainson out in the mobile storm tracker. She is on Route 116 looking west. And we'll see if in the control room, if you guys can, see if we can get her up. Okay. All right, so we will get them up as soon as we can. We'll be watching. Lauren's going to have a good view at the storm as it comes in. Again, no current warnings for Galesburg, but Galesburg be on alert in the event that this storm moves in to your area. And it is starting to make a lift to the northeast a little bit. You can see the scan there, the last couple of observations over the last 30 minutes. We expect these storms to continue to develop and move on through. They are going to be somewhat discrete and broken up, and when I say that, not everybody is going to see the worst of this weather as we go through this evening. The line's going to be a little broken up as it pushes on through, but we've obviously got one supercell here, another strong one up to the north there, another one near Chicago now that is tornado warned. And so we'll be watching this activity. There's going to be some gaps in here, so not everybody's going to see this, but the potential is certainly there for some strong tornadoes. So here's Future Track. Here's how our model is handling things. It's got the storms developing off to our west and then moving further east. 3 p.m. Notice the area is mainly impacted along and north of I-74, but we could get some of these embedded supercells in there that could go on to produce these tornadoes, large hail up to 2 inches in diameter, and 70-mile-per-hour winds not out of the question. Then as the storms move further east, again, we are not out of the woods in areas like Peoria or Bloomington. Now, the further south you go, you're still under the gun here, but your chances are lower of seeing anything significant. Now, with that said, you could still see a severe storm if the line continues to backbuild to the west. By 5 p.m., we start to see the line moving out towards I-55. You might want to give or take an hour on the timing of this line. It's a model representation of what it thinks is going to happen, so there's a little give or take here. And then we could see some additional development on the backside of it. However, I'm not expecting that to be significant. There could be some hail and some wind with that, along with some heavy rain, but the tornado risk should begin to slowly diminish. But we do remain under a tornado watch through 9 p.m. tonight for all of central Illinois. And again, they have highlighted areas, especially along and north of I-74, for the potential of strong tornadoes, EF2 or higher. So there's a potential for some significant severe weather moving across central Illinois, which is why we designated today a severe weather alert day, just because of the potential of this, along with with a lot of people spending Memorial Day outdoors. Starting to get a little bit of rain now in the Galesburg area. Check in, see if we have any rotation showing up. Got a really good couplet now popping up there. This is one to keep an eye on. We are getting a good, looks like a good couplet just now to the southeast of Monmouth, southwest of Galesburg. That might be more of some interference there. So we'll see if how that actually ends up looking in the next scan. Otherwise, some rotation now beginning to cross 67 south of Monmouth. No debris signatures. And for those who may have family or anybody up in Chicago, there's also a tornado warning up there for southern parts of Chicago. And we're getting some new development here ahead of this one cell, and all this could evolve into something more significant, so we'll keep an eye on that too. Now, we will occasionally be cutting into programming throughout the afternoon as these storms move into our viewing area. But as soon as the warnings expire and the risk of tornadoes decrease, we will continue our coverage here on the live stream until the threat has waned, at least to the best of our ability. Pull up any storm reports we may have. Again, these cells had produced one tornado west of the Mississippi River. They have not done so since, but they have had a few pockets of rotation from time to time. Additional storms are flaring up across Knox and Fulton counties. Latest indications, no new updates on the storms that we are currently watching. And a couple of areas of interest on this cell, now pushing its way towards Galesburg. That looks to be more outflow dominant, but we could be looking at the formation of a new area of rotation within there, so that's going to be something that we'll need to continue to watch. That'll be moving up towards Galesburg as well, but right now it doesn't look too alarming. Otherwise, there's another couplet just off to the west here, south of Monmouth, between Monmouth and Roseville, and that is moving into Knox County as well. I'll pull up the radar imagery again. So it looks like the storm may be trying to reorganize itself. We've got new cells popping up ahead of it. Chances are one of these are going to become the more dominant feature as we go through this afternoon, especially along and north of Interstate 74. I think that's where the greater potential is going to be. For now, let's go ahead and let's send it on over to meteorologist Lauren Rainson, who is now out there south of Abingdon. Lauren, what are you seeing?
Looking north, northwest, or directly into those tornado warned storms that have been coming out of eastern Iowa and just now moving into far western portions of Illinois. They're just west of the Galesburg and Abington areas, and like you mentioned, they've only produced a tornado back when they were in Iowa. These storms have yet to produce a tornado being on the Illinois side, but it's just darkness, a lot of lightning we're seeing, and again, we are looking directly into those storms. That radar continues to indicate some broader rotation. Nonetheless, these storms right here, you are looking at it as they're entering into Knox County. This is what we're really continuing to monitor. The rain intensity is also starting to pick up here as well. We're again about 6 miles south of Abington, so the rain is about to come down. But you are looking right at those storms that Chris continues to track as they're moving into Knox County.
All right, thanks a lot, Lauren. Keep an eye on the storms if you could. Lauren, why don't you just hang out where you're at? Otherwise, if you want to get a little closer, feel free to do so. I'll let you follow those storms up. Looks like they are moving at a little bit now of a northeastern clip, so they might be pushing into the Galesburg area. We could also be looking at some additional development just to your east, with storms now flaring up in southern Knox County. So you may end up wanting to just drop a little further east, Lauren.
Sounds good. We'll be tracking that.
All right, thanks, Lauren. All right, let's bring it back into Max 1 if we could. Excellent. So we're getting some new activity flaring up here to the south of Galesburg. We'll see how this activity goes. Lauren's down here just south of Abington. She can continue east on 116, and that'll give her a good view of the storm as it continues to march eastward. The only tornado warning we do have is still out of our viewing area, but it is moving in. So we're giving you a little extra coverage here. The Monmouth area under tornado warning through 3 o'clock. The rotation was, at least in the last couple of scans, was not as well defined. It's a little looser there, but we could see that retighten up a little bit. We're also looking at some new cells developing here across southern Knox County, which could take on some rotation as they move in as well. These are the only storms heading our way for now. Again, the potential is there, especially as these storms move north of I-74, for the rotation to become stronger. And there's a lot of untapped instability here with these cells moving in as well. So these storms certainly have the fuel to play with as they move on through. The National Weather Service, the Storm Prediction Center, have given us a risk for not just tornadoes, but strong tornadoes as well. I don't think we're going to be seeing a lot of storms, a lot of different storms producing tornadoes, but what we're probably going to end up with are 1 or 2 storms that do. And those are the ones that we'll have to keep a close eye on. It only takes one storm for it to really turn into something bad. So we'll see how this kind of plays out. Get a lot of good instability across central Illinois. A lot of good strong wind shear as well. We do have this is just on the outskirts of our viewing area, but further north, across northern parts of Henry and Bureau counties. That's north of Geneseo. This is not impacting our immediate viewing area, but if you are watching in Henry County, Bureau County, and your weather radio just went off, that is why. Now, this storm is moving east at 35 miles per hour, and they are saying radar indicated rotation. And that rotation is going to be just north of Geneseo. Let's go and bring in, if in the control room, if we can switch over to Max 2 real quick. We'll show a live view in Galesburg as these storms move on in. Again, we're getting some rain right now in the Galesburg area. I don't see any hail as of yet. Now, that's something we could certainly encounter. Right now, the hail core is now east of Monmouth and moving in. So Galesburg likely to encounter some hail probably in the next 15-20 minutes. And we just got a report from emergency management that spotters are reporting a wall cloud and possible funnel moving towards Galesburg. This is near Abingdon. Near Abingdon, looking north-northwest. So spotters are reporting possible wall cloud and funnel cloud near Abingdon, looking north-northwest. That would be that area of rotation there. It's broad, but this would be where the spotters are reporting the wall cloud and possible funnel cloud. So the storm may very well be just cycling at the moment, but it is moving into Galesburg, so we'll see if we get anything out of that from the National Weather Service. We'll see if this warning gets extended into Knox County. It's an unconfirmed report, but storm spotters in the area. Let's go ahead and switch over to Max 1, please. Storm spotters in the area near Abingdon, looking to the northwest, have spotted a funnel cloud just to the southwest of Galesburg. I do want to show you where that rotation is, according to the radar. And you can see that rotation here. You can see where we've had a little bit of, it's a very broad rotation, but spotters have reported a wall cloud and funnel cloud, and that is moving towards Galesburg. So we'll see. The rotation looks a little broad to produce a tornado, but certainly we've seen weaker returns drop brief tornadoes anyway. So we'll keep a close eye on this. No confirmed reports of a tornado out of that yet. We've got meteorologist Lauren Rainson in the area as well along Route 116, so she might be able to get a view of that. And again, looking at monitoring our camera in Galesburg as well. So we'll see if we get an extension of any of these warnings. Some broad rotation just to the west of Galesburg and moving in. Okay, getting better scans here. Other warnings that we're following but are not really in our immediate viewing area. We also have this one up north, Bureau, Henry, Whiteside counties. That's north of Interstate 80. That's until 3:15. But the ones we are most concerned about are these storms now pushing into Knox County. Yeah, let's go and take it out to Lauren. Lauren, we had a report of spotters near Abingdon reporting a wall cloud and funnel cloud. Have you been able to see anything like that?
Chris, that's this exact same area that we're in right now. No, we still have not been able to see anything. We are just west of Abington. What we did was Route 116, jotted a little bit to the north, and now we are approaching the west end of Abington again to see if we can, pick out any of that rotation.
All right, looks like we may have lost
a little bit of clearing, but then it's just nothing but dark sky and then occasional lightning flashes. And we did run into a heavier batch of rainfall now as we're moving into the west side of Abington. But yeah, we are in this exact same area that you're talking about, but we're not seeing any wall or any rotation. I know you did mention the rotation is kind of on the broader side at this time, but yeah, we're just not seeing any.
Okay, Lauren, keep an eye out there. He's starting to get out. It looks like you might have some bases on the clouds there on your, just on your right-hand side. That might be something they may have been spotting. So we'll keep an eye. Lauren, keep up the good work. We'll keep in touch. So far, we have some unconfirmed spotter reports of spotters near Abingdon in Knox County looking north-northwest at a wall cloud and possible funnel cloud. That would be a storm moving into the Galesburg area. The rotation is pretty broad at this point. We could see this certainly tighten up here as it moves in. It's got some activity in front of it, and so we could be looking at the storm trying to maybe re-strengthen itself as it moves a little further east. The air mass further east of these storms is a little better, a little more conducive for thunderstorms to really grow. It's got a lot of instability to feed off of as it crosses I-74. So we're going to keep a close eye on this. We do expect this to blow through. Here's the, we'll kind of stepstone through our forecast here as we go through the rest of today. I don't think everybody is going to see a thunderstorm, but we do expect the ones that do to potentially see some significant severe weather. So there's going to be some areas that don't see much at all and others that see just a little too much. So here's the timing. Taking these storms, again, mainly north of I-74 is where the models have been pegging this, but there is a potential that we get some additional development a little further south as well. And that's going to continue to whirl through as we go through this evening. But the main focus has always been along and north of I-74 for the greatest potential of seeing that severe weather. And this changes with every model run exactly where these storms are going to be. So the tornado watch continues through 9 p.m. tonight for all of central Illinois. Just note that your chances of a tornado are lower the further south you go, higher the further north you go. Getting a new update here. Let me go check what that update was. Those are updates coming out of the Chicago office and the Quad Cities office for this one of these storms here. So these storms are moving east at about 35 miles per hour. We'll give a rough estimate as to where we might see some of these arriving. As far as the greater potential of severe weather. So Galesburg, it's practically there now. You've been getting some rain for quite some time out of this storm. Oneida 302, Williamsfield 318, Toulon 334, and Princeville 342. Now, if these storms really start to tighten up and start to really rotate a lot, we could start seeing them take more of a right turn, which would instead of making them move northeast, it would take them more on an eastern track, and that could pose a greater risk to the Peoria area. And so we'll be watching that. I'll take a quick look at, do a scan. We'll see how healthy the updraft is here, so bear with me while I cut into this. Storm tops seem to be only around 30,000 feet. And I'm not seeing any well-organized hail core within this yet. Again, but there is better instability just east of these storms, so they're moving into a slightly better environment. And the shear is a little better as you go further north, as you get north of I-74. So far what we're seeing, all this activity southwest of Galesburg is nothing well organized at the moment, but some heavy rainfall. We may see this activity really start to spike up a little bit as it gets into eastern parts of Knox, Stark, and western Stark and western Peoria counties. We might see this activity really start to flare up. We can take a look at our Galesburg Skycam on Max 2. Thank you. And so there's a current look in Galesburg as these storms are moving in. You're not seeing anything well defined there. Yeah, Bureau County is under, far northern parts of Bureau and Henry counties are under a tornado warning. This does not include Bureau Junction. So I know your radios probably went off in Bureau and Henry counties. These warnings are for the extreme northern portions of the county. Cities included within this warning: Prophetstown, Tampico, and Deer Grove. Portland Corners, Leon Corners, Spring Hill, Normandy, Yorktown, and Thomas. Those are the areas underneath that tornado warning. It does not include anybody further south of Interstate 80. So Bureau Junction is fine for now. We'll see if this activity coming in, though, moves your way. Starting to get a little bit of an interesting feature southwest of Galesburg now. Maybe a weak hook showing up there. But the velocity, even though this storm was tornado warned, the velocity imagery right now is does not look impressive for tornadic activity. The storm may be in the process of cycling. It has kind of, in the last hour, it's kind of run into some other storms that have been developing, so that's likely impacting its strength at the moment. We'll see what it does here as it moves in, with the other storms coming in, developing just off to its south flank. If something does form near the Galesburg area out of this, you're probably not going to see it, as there is a lot of rain in the area. Let me show you the storm reports. Again, this storm has had a history of producing tornadoes further west. Here's our model representation. It takes a lot of this activity to the northeast, but keep in mind there could be some additional development off to the south here. We've got Lauren Rainson. Let's go ahead and take a look at Lauren. Lauren, what do you got?
South of Galesburg on Route 41, we are in the exact location where if a wall cloud or anything would form, you would be looking at it. Right now the storms have been passing directly in front of us from the west to the east. We did not see a wall cloud, but again, we were in that location where if anything were to have formed, we would have seen it. It would have been right in front of us. However, I can report to you that we are not seeing a wall cloud at this time. We can clearly pick out, though, the very broad base of the whole. You can pick out the base of the storm, the base, but we are not seeing a wall cloud. I can pick out some very broad rotation, though, but again, I'm still not seeing any wall cloud, and I just wanted to let you know from our standpoint.
All right, thanks a lot, Lauren. Can you tell me which direction you are heading right now?
We are driving north right now on Route 41, and we're about 5 miles south of Galesburg.
Okay.
I'm looking off to my east-northeast, and I do see some broad rotation, but I'm not seeing any wall cloud feature.
Okay. That's if you guys want to, if you can, Lauren, is there any way you can pan the camera a little bit to your right?
Can we pan the camera a little bit right? Yeah, we're gonna do that because that's where I'm. Yeah, we're actually gonna turn right now.
Okay.
So you can get a better view of this broad rotation that I'm looking at. All right, so we're turning. We're gonna be facing east right now. We're on County Road 1300 North, and we are just south of Galesburg. So this is what I'm talking about right here. This is what you're looking at.
All right, Lauren, yeah, go ahead and just keep an eye on that because
So we
that's
are,
certainly
again,
the feature there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I do see the rotation's very broad, but I have yet to see any tighter rotation. I have yet to see an actual wall cloud. And again, we are about 5 miles south of Galesburg,
All right, thanks a lot, Lauren.
off of Route 41.
All right, so let's go ahead and bring in back to Max 1 if we could. I want to show you what Lauren's talking about here. So she's about 5 miles south of Galesburg. And that's going to put her somewhere down here. She's looking at this feature right here. And we have seen there is some of that broad rotation just south of Galesburg. It's not particularly tight, but that is the area we're going to be watching, and she's got a pretty good view of it. So we'll keep an eye on that as that passes just south of Galesburg. Galesburg has some heavier rain now moving into town, along with some pretty gusty winds coming out of the northwest. The radar is just in the process of updating, so hopefully I can get a new scan on the velocity there, see if that is starting to intensify as it passes just south of Galesburg. There's no tornado warning in effect for Knox County. Other reports reporting rotation at Highway 34 and 140th Street in Warren County. So they're all looking at that same area of interest. And again, it's going to be right in here, just now south of Galesburg, pushing towards Knoxville. It's weak, but there is some subtle rotation there with the storm that's moving on in. Look at lightning, give you an indication how the storms have fared. Still have a good deal of lightning with it, not as much as it had about 15 minutes ago. Tornado watch continues for all of central Illinois through 9 p.m. tonight. There is a potential for a strong tornado or two, and by strong we mean EF2 or stronger. I think that threat is going to be higher north of I-74, however. That is where the conditions, that's where the wind shear is a bit stronger. There's the view in Galesburg of the rain, maybe some small hail now falling. Other storms we are going to continue to monitor aside from what is now moving through Knox County. We still got storms up north across Bureau and Henry counties. This warning, though, however, is in effect for areas north of Interstate 80, does not really impact our local viewing area. Interested to see if there's some rotation at elevated portions of this. If the rotation picks up as we go higher into the storm, so let me take a look at that. So we'll see if this rotation goes up a ways. And there is a little bit in there. It's not really fast, but there is some rotation in there. So something we'll need to continue to watch, of course. Now, I'd imagine this tornado warning for Warren County is going to be dropped or allowed to expire. It will be allowed to expire at 3 p.m. area of interest, I'll circle it for you, is now the Knoxville area in Knox County, as we do have some weak rotation moving in to that area. It's not very strong. There is some weak rotation there. A lot of storms do show weak rotation, even if they're not all that severe. There's that tornado warning for Bureau, Henry, and Whiteside counties. So now that that storm is pushing into Knox County, we'll keep an eye on it. The atmosphere is quite unstable as it crosses Interstate 74. So this thing there's a lot of juicy air out here to the west that the storm could potentially feed on. A lot of wind shear. The wind shear is a little better north of I-74 as well. Getting some heavy rain pushing out of the Galesburg area. We've had some reports of rotation at times. Wall clouds and funnel clouds have been sighted. I think a lot of the rain or storms popping up just south of the storm have been interrupting its flow. And so we'll see if we can get some new development on the south side of the storm as it continues to move its way a little further east. This is going to track, if it holds, it should pass north of Peoria, but then move towards Chillicothe and Lakin, and then eventually up through with some rain and hail perhaps into the Stark County area. And then we'll see some of that also branching up north into Bureau and Putnam counties and then on to LaSalle County. Still can't rule out the possibility that we'll get some additional development back to the west and south of the initial line, which is why they do have that tornado watch that is in effect for all of central Illinois through 9 p.m. tonight. So don't let your guard down. We were worried a lot of people are spending the day outdoors. So when the skies start to darken up a little bit, don't wait till it rains to pack it in. It might be too late by that point. If you notice that you're seeing the thunderstorms building, you're starting to hear some rumbles of thunder, then you should be moving indoors as quickly as possible, regardless whether or not we get a warning or not. Lightning is dangerous, and all thunderstorms contain lightning, and so you do not want to be caught outside in a storm like this. So sirens are going off in Galesburg, but the rain is moving on out. Let's take a look at the couplet. Somebody may have spotted something to trigger that in Knox County. Now, I do not see an immediate threat to Galesburg itself. I think if we have a greater risk, it is to Knoxville. Okay, and Lauren isn't reporting any new sightings yet. And Lauren is now in Galesburg. So we'll keep an eye, she's going to keep an eye on the storm as it moves north. My thoughts are this storm is going to continue to cross 74. And what I suspect will happen is if this thing is going to strengthen, it's going to do so as this southern leading edge continues to push northward here. And then that's where we'll see some additional development as it begins to push in. And then maybe as it crosses into Stark, northern Peoria counties, and then on into Marshall County, we could see a bigger risk develop out of this. Again, the shear is much better to the north. We've got a new report coming in, a new warning. This is for Henry County. This is out of another storm on the northern edge of this. Again, just outside of our viewing area. But tornado warning now for Henry, Mercer counties. Areas included in this warning: New Windsor, Alpha, Woodhull, Lynn Center, Andover, Cambridge. So the Woodhull area is of, we'll keep an eye on you. It is expected to be there at 3:20. The Henry County Fairgrounds, Griffin, Gilchrist, Swedona, and Eula are all included within that. Yeah, no strong organized rotation moving through Knox County. A lot of heavy rain though. Reports of thunder in Princeville. That's likely from the leading edge of the storm. We'll go ahead and chime it out for you. Storms are moving to the northeast at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So as far as the worst of this, you'll get some rain ahead of time. But the worst of it is set to arrive. Elmwood 320, Oneida 307, Brimfield 326, Toulon 339, and Wyoming 346. Princeville, you're probably looking at a 335 to 340 arrival time as far as the worst of that. I'm going to keep an eye on that. I'm going to switch our camera over. If we want to take Max 2 real quick, see what get a current view in Peoria. Looking back to the northwest as clouds begin to develop. Again, some of these would be what could soon become thunderstorms. And you're looking northwest here. There is an interesting feature on this, and I'll try to point it out to you. Some of these clouds have a little bit of a base on them under here. So there's the updraft. We'll keep an eye on that stuff. This all could evolve into more widespread severe weather. All right, let's go ahead and switch back to Galesburg, where the activity is starting to move out. Again, nothing severe currently, other than what we have in Henry County. That was a tornado warning through 3:45 p.m. There's some weak rotation near Rivoli, but not particularly strong. So that continues for another 40 minutes. Apologize. Bear with me here, folks. I'm still here. If you, I'll be silent for a while every once in a while, but until something more significant pops up. I am just currently going over some of the current conditions to see how things are shaping up. But I'm still here. Let's go and switch back to Max 1. Thank you. Best tornado parameters currently are up to the northeast, north of us, north of I-74, which is where we've been expecting them to be today. A lot of instability across central Illinois that these storms are moving into. And so we could see this activity really start to blossom if they can take advantage of it. No rotation. It means some broad rotation there northwest of Galesburg. That's quite elevated, though. It's not very impressive. For a higher, being higher up in the storm, we would typically want to see that a little faster, which is why the National Weather Service has not warned that. No rotation closer to the Peoria area. And just an update on what's going on further north in Bureau and Henry counties. We still have a warning across northern parts of Henry and Bureau County until 3:15. Tornado Cape possible just north of the county line. But that is no immediate threat to areas like Princeton. It is no immediate threat to Bureau Junction, Tiscawa, Hennepin, Cherry, Wyanett. That storm is no threat to you all. Meanwhile, Williamsfield, Princeville, you have rain that is moving in. You're probably getting a little bit of thunder, but not seeing anything well organized at the moment. So we'll keep a close eye on this activity. Again, the atmosphere further east across Peoria, Chillicothe, Henry, Rutland, Eureka, Mackinac, Ottawa, Princeton. It's all pretty well primed for more storm development and storms to become more robust. And we could be looking, we'll see what this cell does. We'll see as if this can turn into one large supercell as it gets further to the east. Another look at the Henry County storm. That storm looks to be weakening, but a tornado warning continues until 3:45 p.m. Not really seeing much of any rotation there. So that storm does not appear to be a significant issue. See if we can get a view from Peoria here. I'm going to fire up our Skycam on our Paradise Hotel Casino Skycam. If you want to take that on Max 2, give you a look at the clouds moving in and new cells developing near the Peoria area. So we've got all these thunderstorms, all these new updrafts forming. And these are all going to be feeding into that main system, but it all could evolve into a larger storm or a complex of storms as it moves on through. And you can also get little brief spin-ups underneath this stuff as well. If you got some outdoor activities going on in the Peoria area, now's a good time to try to get indoors before the rain arrives and the lightning arrives as well. Lightning is going to be the main threat out of these, along with some heavy rain. The best tornado conditions right now remain north of I-74. I don't expect that to improve further south. I think areas south of I-74 tornado conditions have lowered a little bit, but now these storms are moving into the area of greatest concern, which is going to be out here. Not seeing anything of anything to be watching for. We do got some hail maybe across western Peoria County. I don't think it looks small. And then across Henry County, still a tornado warning up there till 3:45. But again, that looks very, very loosely organized at best. And it has really started to fizzle out. So they went ahead and canceled that warning for Henry County. Rainfall rates going to be something to keep an eye on as well. The ground is quite saturated. And so rainfall rates, these are instantaneous precip rates, but you're looking at 4.5 inches an hour out of these storms. Let's go ahead and switch back to Max 1. Yep. So the watch remains in effect for all of central Illinois through 9 p.m. tonight. That is the tornado watch. Watch simply implies that conditions are right for the development of tornadoes. One thing of big concern for us today is that there is a potential for some strong tornadoes of EF2 or stronger. And those are the ones we'll need to watch out for. Those conditions are better north of I-74, Kewanee, Lakin, Pontiac in your direction. That doesn't mean we can't get tornadoes further south. It just means the conditions are a little better as you go further north. We have a little bit more turning of the winds right along that warm front. So that's where those conditions are a little better. But the tornado watch still extends back to the south, even though the tornado risk itself might be a little lower in areas like McDonough County, Fulton, Mason, southern Tazewell counties. You still can't rule out some large hail, 2 inches in diameter, and strong winds, especially if these storms kick out an outflow boundary and cause additional storms to fire up. I'm getting some new alerts, so let's find out what all that is about. Just another update, an update on the tornado warning up here across northern Bureau County. Again, this is outside of our viewing area, so southern parts of Bureau County might be getting their radio sounding due to this, because it does include Bureau County, but the worst of it is well to your north. Sheffield, Princeton, Jerry, this does not include you. It includes the far northern reaches of Bureau County, including Yorktown and Normandy, along with Deer Grove, Walnut, included within that as well. And there's a little bit of a couplet there. Again, the rotation with that is even across Whiteside County, so it's not really impacting Bureau County at all. But we'll keep an eye on it, but that's going to set your radios off a little bit in Bureau County. Got some storms moving into the Peoria area. None of these are severe. But we'll get some rain picking up here in the next 15 minutes or so. It looks like the storms are all trying to feed into what's going to be a big cluster or one giant cell. Again, I think as that tracks to the northeast, it could potentially strengthen. There is a little bit more rotation near Williamsfield. Not very strong, though. It's quite elevated. But I wouldn't be surprised if you're now getting some strong winds gusting down towards the ground of the Williamsfield area. Other locations probably seeing some strong winds pushing in. Elmore, Williamsfield, Laura, Toulon, all be on the lookout for heavy rain and some strong winds, probably around 50 miles per hour coming in with that storm. And then the tornado watch continues through 9 p.m. tonight. Once these storms move through, I think some of our western counties may be dropped from this, but we have to see what transpires on the back end of it. And there's a little bit of a base here on these clouds. You can kind of see a little bit of a base on the bottoms of these clouds. So we'll see if this activity can continue to strengthen. There is quite a bit of shear out there. Reframe our shot. This is not a confirmed report, so I'm not going to relay that. That was so we'll see if we get anything out of that. I want to make sure that's a valid report before I push that out. See if this, there's some weak, loosely organized rotation south of Williamsfield along I-74, east of Knoxville. Okay. If Lauren sees anything, the rotation is kind of tightening up a little bit here. And we've had a report of something, I don't know, I do not know this this spotter very well, so I'm hesitant to relay his information, but he said a brief tornado on the ground. That was 5 miles east of Knoxville, but again, I'm not sure how good of a spotter he actually is. I'm not familiar with him. But here's the rotation north. It's now along 115, and we'll see if this tightens up. Williamsfield, be prepared in case this continues to strengthen. Again, yeah, let's go. Let me take Lauren's feed real quick, and let me see what she is seeing. Lauren, if you could do me a favor, which direction are you facing?
Right now, the GoPro is facing east. We are on Interstate 74, and we are in that area you were talking about, outside of Brimfield, Elmwood areas. Unfortunately, I don't think I can turn the GoPro to face that direction, but I can see that area that spotter was talking about. I am looking west, which would be north. I'm still not seeing a wall cloud or anything. Just, again, very broad rotation. That's really been the trend so far this afternoon. I have yet to see an actual wall cloud. Oh, well, let me see. Hold on. Oh, I wish. Okay, we need to. I really wish I could turn the GoPro because it looks like some sort of a. Okay, try to. There. All right, Chris, you see that now?
I do.
I can see some sort of like a tail cloud or an inflow into what might be trying to be a wall cloud.
Okay. You guys do me a favor.
It's kind of hard to see with all the trees right now, though, unfortunately.
Yep. You guys do me a favor. Get to a turnoff where you can turn off and keep a very close eye on that, because it is looking like it might be starting to tighten up a little bit. And so there is.
Yeah, because you can clearly see here. We're starting to get a clearing now. We're going to try to pull off so we can get a better view of this. But you can see the inflow into the storm right now, into the base of the storm. That's where the wall cloud would be, right there.
Yep, that's
We're at mile marker 66 on I-74, in between Brimfield and Galesburg right now. That's where it would be, right there where you're looking at.
Okay, Lauren, yeah, that is, we are getting some broad rotation.
I can see broad rotation. I can see it.
And we're getting a tornado warning out of it, Lauren, I believe so. We are getting a tornado warning out of this. Lauren, keep a very close eye on it. Tornado warning has been now issued for the Williamsfield area. As we can see, we do have a well-defined wall cloud there showing up on the camera there. Let's go ahead and do me a favor. Let's bring it back into the studio here so we can get our coverage back on this. We will also need to get on air as soon as possible. So if you guys could please let me know when we are there, that would be very helpful. Again, we have a damaging confirmed now tornado located over Williamsfield. Lauren's got a view on it. She's going to keep an eye on it. Confirmed tornado.
There's a confirmed
tornado is now moving east of Galesburg, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Weather spotters confirmed tornado. Flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged, destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur.
Of that for me?
If we could do me a favor and mute Lauren's mic for a little bit, and we will get her. We'll come back to her as soon as I relay this information. Are we on air yet in the control room? Have we gone on air yet? Okay, so for those of you watching on our live streams, we are getting ready to cut into programming. You all just let me know when you're ready, and I'll stand in front of the chroma key. Again, this is for you. I am ready. Let's go ahead and do it. Good evening. I'm your local weather authority. Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates. A tornado warning has been now issued for Knox, Stark, and northwestern Peoria counties through 4 p.m. tonight. Spotters confirmed a tornado near Williamsfield moving to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. Again, this is a spotter confirmed tornado report now moving over the Williamsfield area. We'll show you the velocity with this. Tight rotation directly over Williamsfield. Spotters mentioned a touchdown of a tornado. That was near just east of Knoxville. Rotation is now moving to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. I am going to draw out the area of concern with this, as this is now moving into an area that is prone to producing tornadoes and is likely to continue to do so as it moves to the northeast. Again, tornado spotted near Williamsfield, moving to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. That is going to put it near Laura at 328. Laura, you need to be seeking shelter immediately. The storm is going to be there in less than 5 minutes. Confirmed tornado report out of the storm, now moving through into Peoria County. Confirmed report of a tornado near Williamsfield. That report came in just moments ago when the National Weather Service issued this warning. The storm is also expected to then be near Spear at 351. I am going to broaden this out a little bit because I would like to include the Princeville area. So Princeville, bear with me. Hold on one second. I want to broaden this out in case this storm wobbles a little bit, include more locations within that. There we go. Laura, 327, 335 in Monica, Princeville at 339, and Spear 348. Let's go ahead and send it out to Lauren Rainson, who is out on this storm following it. Lauren, what are you seeing?
Hi, Chris. We are exactly in the area that you're talking about. We saw the rotation, the base of the storm, the tail cloud, the nice inflow going into it. I know it's very hard to see right now because we're driving along the interstate where there are so many trees blocking our view. But what you're looking at, once we clear through all of these trees, you will be looking right at that storm that is currently producing a tornado. So hopefully we're going to come up here where the trees clear. You will be able to get a much better view of the storm that is tornado ward right now. There it is. We are looking directly north into the storm. And again, we are traveling east on Interstate 74. That is it right there, the tornado ward storm you are looking at. We cannot see the tornado from our location, but this thing is massive. I mean, this is the most, by far, structure-wise, impressive storm I've seen so far in the mobile storm tracker. I mean, a lot of lightning, as you can see there, and just very, very definite rotation with this massive storm. Very dangerous situation there, but we are safe enough south of that as it's tracking to the east. But this is the storm we're going to be continuing to follow. We are just now driving into Peoria County as the storm is moving east, and we are on I-74. So this is not heading in our direction, it's heading away from us.
Lauren?
But this is, right now, this is the best view we have on that storm.
Lauren, if you can, If you guys haven't gotten to Brimfield yet, try to get to 150 and head north, 150 up to 78, and see if you can head up towards the Princeville area. And that should put you right on the back end of that, and you'd have a good
We'll be
view of
heading
that.
that way.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead. Lauren, keep an eye on that. We'll keep. Let's go ahead and mute her mic, but we're going to let's go ahead and keep her feet up for now, and then we will. Interested to see if we want to. Let's go ahead and throw this up on the wall behind me. Go ahead and give me the green light when that happens. Thank you, guys. All right, we're going to, again, this is the tornado-warned storm. Lauren's along I-74. We're going to send her north to get a better view of this, heading out towards the Princeville area. You can see the well-defined wall cloud, strong rotation with the storm as it begins to move in. We've had a confirmed tornado, so she may not be able to see it where she's at, so she's going to get closer, but there could be a tornado still on the ground underneath that area of rotation. We've got some rain now moving into Peoria itself. No strong rotation noted just yet, but we'll keep an eye on this as these storms are starting to show some better rotation. Meanwhile, tornado warning continues now. This tornado warning continues for northern parts of Peoria County. Knox County is still under the warning. However, the rotation with that has now moved out of your area. Strong rotation now just to the northwest of Williamsfield, passing by Princeville. It looks like it is going to pass just due west of Princeville. You can see the rotation is really starting to tighten up. Let's go ahead and send it back over to Max 1 for me, please. All right, we're really starting to see the rotation tightening up out of this thing. My concern is as this tightens up, it may start to make more of a right turn into the Princeville area. It's been moving due north, but as storms really start to take on rotation, they might make more of a right turn hook into the Princeville area. So Princeville will be seeking shelter immediately as this storm could very well be coming your way. Rotation is becoming more defined. No debris signature yet on radar, so that is a relief, but it doesn't mean there isn't something on the ground yet. Again, strong hook echo spotted here. We have a confirmed report out of a tornado out of this. Large rotating wall cloud coming in 1 mile to the north. The spotter is just southwest of Laura, Illinois. So they are reporting, spotters are reporting a large rotating wall cloud near Laura, Illinois. Zooming in, that's going to be far northwestern parts of Peoria County. So spotters are in Laura, looking to the northwest. So this is the rotating wall cloud. You've got that strong inflow notch of warm, moist air feeding into the storm. Then on the back side of it, you're going to have the strong, gusty winds on the outside of it. So we're going to keep, we've got Lauren Brainson's feet up over there. I'm going to keep a close eye on that. But this is the possible tornado right here, now moving its way. It looks like it may start to make more of an easterly turn towards Monica and Princeville. Latest velocity couplet showing that the storm still is showing some strong rotation. Right here to the east of Williamsfield, moving towards Princeville. I'm going to estimate its time of arrival again. I'm going to broaden that out as it looks like it's kind of wobbling a little bit. Monica 335, Princeville 339, Spear at 347, Edelstein 349. We have a confirmed tornado out of this storm that is moving to the east-northeast now at 45 miles per hour. Other storms in the Peoria area. These are not severe, but are starting to look a little bit better on radar as far as structure goes. And we'll see if we can get a sample of any type of rotation. I'm not seeing any organized rotation as of yet, but perhaps some gusty winds moving into the western parts of Peoria County. So we have one tornado warning with a confirmed tornado now tracking its way into Stark and northern parts of Peoria County. Last few scans of this show that the storm is starting to make more of an eastward jog as it begins to show some stronger rotation moving towards the Princeville area. So Princeville needs to be seeking shelter now. Get to the lowest floor of your house or apartment, preferably a basement. If you do not have a basement, the first floor is fine, but get to an interior room such as a bathroom or a closet. If you're in a mobile home, you need to try to get to a sturdier shelter if you have the time. Tornado warning continues until 4 p.m. Remain in your shelter until 4 o'clock. We've got new updates coming in. Weather Service has taken Knox County now out of that warning, but continues for Marshall, Peoria, and Stark County until 4 p.m. A confirmed tornado reported out of this. The rotation now is tightening. Princeville, this is immediately an immediate situation. You need to be seeking shelter immediately. A confirmed tornado was located over Laura, moving north 20 miles northwest of Peoria, moving northeast at 35. Princeville seeks shelter now as the storm is moving in. Rotation is strengthening on radar. We see the rotation really starting to tighten up here just to the west of Princeville. Now, this could end up becoming a very large and dangerous tornado if it is still on the ground. If those in the control room could do me a favor and let me know where Lauren is, that'll be helpful. Lauren is pursuing this storm. I believe she's now on 150 or 78 heading north towards the storm. Yep, thank you guys. So Lauren Rainson is out in the mobile storm tracker. She is right behind the storm. As soon as she has a good clear view from what I am seeing on camera, let's go ahead and bring her bring in her feed real quick, just the video. And we can see if we see out any features. Looks like we may have a large funnel cloud coming in out of the storm right here. We could have a possible funnel. It's hard to tell from the movement of the camera. Also one built back in there. There might be the funnel cloud within the wall cloud. So as soon as they get a better look, we'll keep an eye on that. But certainly a dangerous storm moving towards the Princeville area. Other locations in this warning include Wyoming, Castleton, Camp Grove. Other locations, Lawn Ridge, Marshall, Putnam County Fairgrounds, Duncan, and Monica. Again, confirmed tornado out of this storm. Let's go ahead and take it back. Let's keep it on that. Keep it on her image, please. You guys are fine the way you have it right now. Thank you. So you are looking at a live view of the tornado-warned storm that is now moving through Peoria County. It's hard to make out. There might be a large tornado embedded back in there where it is really dark. May have a hard time seeing it, but you've got the wall cloud there, and there could be a tornado certainly embedded deep within there. All right, let's send it back over to Max 1. And if we see anything more, please get in my ear, let me know. Confirmed tornado moving towards the Princeville area. I do not see any signs of debris, but we are now looking at a possibility of some pretty large hail falling down in southern Stark County. The way this is tracking, it looks like the tornado, which is going to be right in here, is going to be moving over, if not just to the north of Princeville. Again, other storms in Peoria. These are not tornado-warned Peoria. However, we are starting to see now a little bit of rotation taking shape and taking form here along 150 just to the east of Kickapoo, and that prompted yet another tornado warning. We now have a tornado warning in effect for Marshall, Peoria, Stark, and Woodford County. We have two separate cells now tornado warned in the Peoria area. Downtown Peoria not included within this warning. Chillicothe is, however. Other locations in this tornado warning include Peoria, Germantown Hills, Spring Bay, Bayview Gardens, Rome, Chillicothe, Washburn, Varna, Minunk, and Toluca. Other locations, Mossville, Lake Wildwood, Alta, Hopewell, Pattonsburg, Cazenovia, Low Point, Kickapoo, Lawn Ridge, and LaRose. We now have two tornado-warned storms moving through the Peoria area. If we want to take Max 2, please, for me, let's take a look at the Skycam over Peoria. We'll get a better sense of what we are seeing. Are getting some low-lying clouds, some broad rotation likely with these storms as they begin to move north of the Peoria area. I'm going to try to change our camera over. We would have a good view of the storm from our other East Peoria cameras, so bear with me. So this is the storm that has prompted the tornado warning in Peoria County. We have radar indicated rotation out of this storm. Let's send it back over to Max 1 for me, please. The sirens are going off in Peoria. Radar indicated rotation out of this as it now moves to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. It's on the north side of Peoria. Downtown Peoria is not included in this warning. Peoria Heights is, however. Bellevue, Hannah City is okay. This is a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. You can see the hook echo now passing right over Route 6. Between 150 and Mossville is where that rotation is showing up in Peoria. Again, strong rotation now shown on radar right in here. Mossville is just to the east. It is about 3 miles to the west of Mossville. Strong rotation between 150 or War Memorial Drive. Now over Route 6, moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. Seek shelter if you're in Mossville, Rome, Dunlap. This storm could be heading towards you. Estimated time of arrival. Let me zoom out and get more locations within this. We've got a couple of cells we are watching, 2 tornado warnings here, so bear with me. We're going to do one by one. We'll start off with the one that is now moving through Peoria County, through the Peoria area. Storm moving to the northeast at 35. Dunlap, 338. It is there. The worst of the rotation just to your south. South Rome, 349. Chillicothe, 357. Cazenovia, 407. Washburn, 412. The other tornado warned storm across northern Peoria County. Still seeing strong rotation now, which has now weakened in the last scan according to this. Near Princeville. That warning continues. The warning for Princeville continues until 4 o'clock, so we've got another 20 minutes to go on this. This storm is moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour and is expected to be near Spear at 350 and Henry at 419. 2 tornado warned storms now moving through Peoria County. The sirens have been going off in Peoria, though the worst of the rotation is just now north of Peoria. It is along Route 6. Now passing north of Route 6. Moving towards the Mossville area and South Rome. There's the hook echo. Here is War Memorial Drive. There's 6. Here's 29. Rotation is about 3 miles to the west of Mossville. You need to be seeking shelter if you are in Mossville. Kickapoo, the rotation with the cell is to your east. You should be fine unless we are getting more rotation to your west, which I do not see. The rotation, at least in the last scan in Peoria, appears to have weakened a little bit. Now we might have a new couplet, however, in Stark County. So after I briefly update you in the Peoria area on our current warning, the couplet there has weakened a little bit, but we are now getting a new couplet forming in Stark County with the other cell to the north that is now moving through the Princeville area. We've got a well-defined hook echo with this storm. So we are getting there's some elevated rotation there just north of Princeville. So rotation with this storm now north of Peoria continues to move a little closer to Mossville. Chillicothe should be sheltered. Washburn as well. Get to the lowest floor of your house, preferably a basement. If you do not have a basement, Get to an interior room such as a bathroom or a closet. You want to put as many walls between you and the outside as you possibly can. Tornado warning continues for Marshall, Peoria, Stark, and Woodford counties until 4:30 p.m. We have not received any new reports since 3:28. Do we have Lauren Rainson's feed? Is she seeing any? Oh, she's frozen right now. Okay, well, when we get her back, we'll see if she's cell service is probably a little spotty out there. But we'll see what she's noting anything on the Princeville storm. We have Lauren Rainson out there following the storm, the northernmost cell in Princeville. And it was starting to show signs of an uptick in rotation right along the Stark County line. And so that tornado warning for that storm continues until 4 p.m. It does include northern parts of Peoria County, but now it looks like the rotation is out of Peoria County, at least the strongest rotation. Princeville, there is still some weak rotation over you, but it has weakened substantially. I would remain sheltered for at least another 15 minutes and let this pass over. There could also be quite a bit of hail falling in now southeastern parts of Stark County. You might notice that little signature there, showing that there is certainly a potential for some large hail within that core. So 2 tornado warnings, one for Marshall, Peoria, Stark County until 4 p.m. Another tornado warning for a separate cell that is still showing signs of rotation just north of Peoria. It's not as well defined, but it is there. It looks now, I'm going to zoom in here, so try to get a better idea of the roads, who's being impacted. South Roan, Mossville, it is moving towards you. We'll loop this over the last 30 minutes. In fact, we'll do last 15 minutes. Moving towards South Rome, Mossville, and then eventually up towards Chillicothe. Chillicothe needs to remain sheltered as well. I'm going to re-time out the worst part of this storm as far as the rotation. Moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. And I want to include as many locations as I possibly can to give some extra people some a little heads up here. So Chillicothe 355, Washburn 409, Varna 421, Toluca 426, and Rutland at 433. We do not have a confirmed tornado out of this. This is radar indicated rotation. One storm that had a history of producing tornadoes, one near Williamsfield, is this storm, now lifting into Stark and Marshall counties and out of Peoria County. That warning continues until 4 p.m. Still some broad rotation with the storm, so we could be getting the storms in the process of cycling. I'm going to take away the tornado warnings for just a second. Again, all this activity is continuing to move east into a more unstable environment where conditions are a little more ripe for tornadoes. As these storms continue to drift to the northeast, Henry, Rutland needs to be on alert. Be prepared. Eureka as well. We'll see if we get some additional development moving in. There's no current warnings in effect for Eureka, but we could see this whole line start to spin up a little bit. We could be getting some new rotation with the northernmost cell now in Chillicothe, and then again that hook echo now just to around the Mossville and Rome areas. Weak rotation just south of Chillicothe, and still some weak rotation over Princeville. It's nowhere near as impressive as it was about 20 minutes ago. Now, these storms have been cycling a little bit over the course of the last few hours since we were watching them develop out in Iowa and moving into central Illinois. Tornado warning, Marshall, Peoria, Stark, and Woodford counties until 4:30 p.m. This does not include the Peoria metro area, but it does include northern parts of Peoria. If you are essentially north of 150, north of War Memorial Drive, that warning includes you. So remain sheltered, but the rotation with the storm is to your north. Germantown Hills, the rotation is to your north. Metamora, the rotation is to your north. Cazenovia, the rotation with this cell is about 11 miles to your east. We expect the storm to continue to track this way between Chillicothe and Washburn. That is where the couplet is going to be heading as it crosses the Illinois River. I'm going to put a so the storms continue to develop. We are under a tornado watch through 9 p.m. tonight. And the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted central and northern Illinois for a risk of not just tornadoes, but strong tornadoes of EF2 or stronger, especially north of I-74. So we need to keep a close eye on this. We rarely see conditions like this come together. Getting a new update here. Tornado watch through 9 p.m. tonight. Latest Skycam, not seeing anything over the Peoria area. Again, the worst of this is to our north. I'm going to let me pull up another camera that might have a better view of this as it lifts to our northeast. All right, let's go ahead and Lauren and photographer Brian are at Princeville Jubilee Road. Lauren, can you hear me? Can you tell me what you are seeing on that cell? Oh, it looks like we may have just lost her again. All right, we'll try to get back to her a little bit. Meanwhile, let's take a look at Max 1. We are continuing to monitor some weak rotation now beginning to cross the Illinois River. Out of this storm that was just recently tornado warned for Peoria and Woodford counties, along with Stark and Marshall counties, the rotation is now over South Rome. So Rome remains sheltered, please, until the storm passes. You got another 15-20 minutes before that moves to your northeast. You got the broad rotation right over you and the Illinois River. As this tracks to the northeast, here's the latest cone moving to the northeast at 35. It looks like now it'll probably be moving closer to Washburn. Washburn, we have it slotted to come through at 4:09. 4:09 is when that is slated to come through. That's if it holds at its current speed. No additional reports out of it. And I ran a little bit of a loop here on our, if they want to take Max 2 real quick, a time lapse of our camera, we can see that, it's a little fast, but towards the end of this, you're going to see what was a little bit of a lowering and a little brief rotation as the storm moved over Peoria, moved over northern parts of Peoria. This loop goes back a couple hours, so it'll continue to move in. You'll see it here in a second. So we had the rain come through. Once the rain clears, a little bit of a base there on the north side of town. It was hard to make out, but it was there. So that certainly a wall cloud that passed on the north side of town. All right, let's take back to Max 1, please. Thank you. Rotation now crossing the Illinois River, south of Chillicothe over Rome. It is heading towards Washburn. Washburn needs to remain sheltered. Pull up our storm reports. Again, these storms, at least the northernmost cell, has a history of producing a tornado near Williamsfield. All these storms appear to be taking on, now we've got what looks to be a stronger couplet near Kickapoo. Let me go back, make sure that is not side lobe contamination, which it might be, but Kickapoo, I'd be on the lookout there. We might be getting some strong rotation here just over the Kickapoo area. So we now have two cells within this same tornado warning that are showing signs of very strong rotation. We've got one over just north of Kickapoo, another crossing the Illinois River. I'm going to bring in our velocity. And we've got a little bit of rotation there. It's certainly one to watch. The rotation now crossing the Illinois River has crossed and is now in Marshall County. Or excuse me, is now in Woodford County, heading for Marshall County. You can see the couplet there as it's crossed the Illinois River. We're going to go ahead and pause this. And the other couplet of concern, there's been a few of them today. Another one just north of Kickapoo. We're starting to see one flare up here, and we've had one moving through Stark County. That has now begun to weaken as well. So Princeville, the rotation with the storm that was over you earlier, has now moved out of your area. Biggest concern is going to be now here in Peoria County. If we could direct Lauren to come back down south towards Kickapoo, that would be very helpful. And try, hopefully she can get on the southernmost cell just northwest of Kickapoo. So we've got two storms of interest moving through Peoria, Woodford, Marshall counties, all within the same tornado warning box. Just to the north of Kickapoo, some rotation there, and then across Woodford County, we've got a small couplet, but it is still there, rotating now to the northeast. It is now crossing 26 on its way towards Washburn. Washburn, Cazenovia needs to remain in shelter. Dunlap, I would remain in shelter due to the next cell coming in from your southwest that also appears to be showing signs of rotation. I'm going to draw these out for you. There's two separate points of interest. One just to the south of Dunlap, another now to the southwest, due south of Chillicothe, moving towards Washburn. So there are two separate couplets we are starting to see out of this storm. Now, this one is fairly weak. This one at times coming in from the west has shown signs of tightening. That is just north of Kickapoo, south of Dunlap. Dunlap, I would remain sheltered with that as that storm now begins to push in. You can get something developing really quickly. Tell Lauren and Brian, please, to be very, very careful. This thing, if they come through Dunlap, there's going to be some rain. They may run into it without even see it coming. So let them know that they should probably let that pass by first before they push in. We've got Lauren Rainson approaching Dunlap now, and so if there's something there, she will let us know. Otherwise, no new confirmed reports of any tornadoes, but we are still seeing some radar-indicated rotation just south of Dunlap. Again, Dunlap, it's going to rain, and then the tornadic aspect of that little hook there will be moving in right after it stops raining. We still have another little couplet then, just south of Chillicothe, heading towards Washburn. So we're going to highlight both of these moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. We'll start off with the storm that is now moving through Woodford County. Up towards Washburn, the rotation with that, we expect it to be in Washburn at 411. And LaRose at 419. The next storm of interest, now moving just south of Dunlap to the northeast at 35, would be then moving on towards Chillicothe. Dunlap 358, 408 South Rome, Chillicothe 415. I've got a picture coming in from a viewer here. I'm going to add it and try to display it for you. This coming in from Dunlap, so bear with me here. We've got some low-hanging clouds out there. So this is from Michelle Paul, some low-hanging clouds in the Dunlap area. Michelle, thank you so much for that photo. Again, an area of concern is just south of Dunlap. We're picking up a little bit of rotation. There's additional rotation here. Also might be seeing some rotation trying to get going near Metamora, but that is not very evident on the velocity. So right now, the healthiest rotation I see is just south of Dunlap. just south of Dunlap as this storm moves to the northeast towards Chillicothe. An update on the storm that we were following earlier, which has weakened. There appears to be no organized rotation with that cell. It was once moving towards Princeville. It had a history of producing tornadoes. No longer appears to be a threat, so that warning is going to be likely allowed to expire at 4 o'clock. Still seeing some good rotation just south of Dunlap to the northeast of Kickapoo, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. We'll continue to time it out. South Rome 408, or Rome Chillicothe 415, Washburn 431. But Washburn, you have another one coming in before that one arrives. That one is set at 411. Okay, thank you. Soon if once they get out of that rain, that would be let me know. And those in the control room, thank you. And once they get south of Dunlap, hopefully they would have a good shot of whatever it is looking north there. Let's go ahead. Let's try to pull up our camera on Max 2 for me, please. All right, we've got a good look at the storm near Dunlap. I'm going to come on camera here and show you what I'm seeing. So we've got the rain here, we've got the hail here. The area to watch, this is the rain-free base. Right in here, there looks to be a stout mesocyclone right there. So this is the area we're going to be watching for any type of tornadic development. Again, this is looking back to the northeast a little bit, but that's what we're watching. Not seeing anything now, but I'll keep my eyes on it. That looks to be more side lobe contamination there, not a couplet. I am going to change this over to velocity real quick because I am interested to see what the storm is doing higher up. Yeah, there is still some rotation aloft with that storm. So Dunlap, the storm south of you certainly has some tornado potential, and I would remain on alert with that. So one couplet near Dunlap, still a weak area of rotation moving towards Washburn as the storm now begins to drift into far northern Woodford and approaches Marshall County. The rotation is there, but it is weak, but it is there. So brief tornadoes are possible, brief and weak tornadoes are possible out of that. Cazenovia, looks like that rotation is likely to pass just to your west. But it is heading directly for Washburn. So Washburn, remain in shelter. We do have a couplet, some rotation heading towards you. It does not look strong, but there is rotation there. Yeah, let's take weather 1, please. Sorry. Thank you. So we're monitoring a few couplets here. The stronger one, especially once I look at higher scans, is this one now moving through just north of Peoria, south of Dunlap. And that's the one that has the better defined hook echo. The tornado warning, again, that was in effect earlier for Stark County and far western parts of Marshall County has been allowed to expire as that storm is no longer a threat. But we are seeing a couple of features here. One, a hook echo just north of Peoria. There's another one just to the southwest of Washburn, another one possibly trying to form to the west of Roanoke, but the rotation within that does not look impressive. All right, let's go ahead and take a look, send it out to Lauren Rainson, who is in the mobile storm tracker. Lauren, where are you at and what are you seeing?
Lauren, where are you at and what are you seeing?
Hi, Chris. We are exactly where that broad rotation is now, just southeast of Dunlap. Essentially, if there was going to be a tornado with that storm that just passed through Dunlap, we would have been in it. However, we did not see anything. We're still on with the broad rotation, and we are keeping on with the storm. We are now east, and we are continuing to follow up with the storm. But looks like now we are getting closer to the shops at Grand Prairie area. We're also approaching Knoxville, Route 40. We're getting closer. So basically we're on the intersection of Allen Road. So we're on the northwest side of Peoria right now, and we literally just drove through. If there was going to be a tornado with that storm, we just drove through it. We did not see anything though, so I did want to relay that information to you.
All right, thanks, Lauren. Keep an eye on it. It does look like it might be in the process of tightening up its rotation a little bit. So if you guys want to face back to the north and keep a close eye on that as it continues to move towards Chillicothe. So maybe head north if you guys are able to on 40 and continue to keep an eye on the storm. All right, we are probably getting a little bit of hail now in Rome associated with this next little cell moving on through. Still a little bit of a couplet here just north of Peoria. Dunlap, it is just to your east. Chillicothe, this storm is moving towards you. Bit of rotation there. Looks like it is going to be moving towards the Chillicothe area, so Chillicothe should also remain sheltered until the storm passes. I will give you an estimated time of arrival on this. Moving to the northeast at 35. Rome 410, this is the second round. Rome, Chillicothe 415, Washburn, this will be the second one, 432, LaRose 439. And the rotation near Washburn appears to be really weak right now. So that doesn't appear to be much of an issue. Brief spit-ups are certainly a possibility out of it. So remain sheltered, Washburn. Once this first little couplet moves over, you'll have another one coming in. Here's a loop of how these storms have evolved. We've still got some pretty healthy rotation seen within the storm. And we've got a couple of interesting features again moving through. This is all north of Peoria, but now moving towards Chillicothe with one area of rotation, one just to the south and moving into the Washburn area. And then we've had a storm capable, or that was producing tornadoes, but even that has now weakened as it is ingesting a lot of rain coming in from these storms just off to its south. Let's go ahead and take Max 2 because I've got a good view of that storm that is now heading towards Chillicothe. Again, here's the base of the storm. The wall cloud is embedded within here. I can kind of see it behind our building, so once this moves north of town, we should have a good clear side of it, but there is some clear rotation with that, so we need to keep a close eye on this as it continues to move closer to Chillicothe. You can notice the clouds are starting to lower there, so this is that area of concern we're going to keep watching. The National Weather Service continues the tornado warning. It's over, according to their latest warning. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over Spring Bay or 7 miles north of Peoria, moving now east at 45 miles per hour. Again, some broad rotation now. This is, let me zoom in here a little bit, get some better roads. Rome, Mossville, Spring Bay area. This is all in your area, broad rotation. Storm is moving to the northeast at 45 miles per hour, could clip Chillicothe, then jump into Marshall and Woodford counties. Moving to the northeast at 45. In addition to this, you're also likely looking at a bit of hail up to the size of just shy of nickels. All right, let's go ahead and take Max 2 again. That lowering, that feature is starting to become a little more visible. We could have a funnel cloud out of that. I'm trying to make it out. But you can see the lowering here off in the distance. This is the storm moving towards Chillicothe. We can see a little bit of a lowering there. Again, we don't have any type of ground truth with this camera, but we can see certainly the base of what appears to be a wall cloud or the base of the mesocyclone. Strong couplet, strong rotation indicated now over the Illinois River. Very good signature there. No tornado debris signature. I am not seeing a debris signature, so whatever we are seeing is not on the ground, or at least is not tossing debris up high enough for it to be seen. Let's go and switch back to Max 1, please. Thank you. So the area of concern now with this cell is just south of Chillicothe. You can see the hook echo here as it now begins to cross the Illinois River. It's moving once again. Chillicothe could be clipped by this, remain sheltered. Washburn, you've got more heading, another round of storms or another storm moving your way. The tornado threat is going to be on the very back end of this. So what you're going to see is you're going to get the rain, you're going to get the hail, and then all of a sudden the rotation is going to be on top of you. So don't wait until you can see it. It'll be too late. Because if this thing drops a tornado, it is going to do so quickly. Well-defined wall cloud out of that, at least from my vantage point on our camera. I'm going to forward that report off to the Weather Service. And Lauren Rainson may actually be driving underneath that right now, so which is why she may not be being able to see the features. Okay. Let me know what she gets east of the river, if she's not already. The storm, the rotation with it is now crossing the river. It is crossing the river between Chillicothe and Rome. Okay, thank you. We'll keep a look at the original storm that prompted the tornado warning to begin with. Still some rotation north of Roanoke. It is brief, but there is rotation. Got a lot of great pictures coming in from viewers. Thank you all. Please keep them coming. Here's another. This was a picture from earlier of the shelf cloud just outside of Princeville. Nick Humphrey sending us this picture. Grand Prairie. Here's another image coming in. This was earlier. Again, broad base, pretty much what Lauren was describing there. We can see it from a distance, and it has certainly some structure, but there's no funnels out of it. And our view on our camera of the wall cloud is getting a little obscured at this point as it moves further away into the distance, off into the distance there. So tornado warning continues for Marshall, Peoria, Woodford County until 4:30 p.m. The strongest rotation is now east of the Illinois River. It has crossed into Woodford County. It is now approaching Route 26. Strongest rotation is right in here. Cazenovia, it is due east of you. It still looks to be moving out towards Washburn. Washburn needs to remain in shelter. Oak Ridge, it looks like the rotation will pass to your north. Mossville, you are in the clear, although the storm is still just to your north by just a few miles, but the rotation is north of you. Peoria remains in the clear. Peoria Heights is now in the clear, and Dunlap is in the clear for now. Further north, just to update folks in LaSalle County, we'll keep an eye on these storms as they move towards you, but none of these storms moving into LaSalle County currently have any organized rotation. Marshall County, you're going to be dealing with the one that is now moving out of Peoria County into Woodford and Marshall counties. Timing on this, I expect it to be near Rutland at 4:44, Toluca 4:39, LaRose 4:32, Washburn 4:26, Chillicothe 4:15. So we'll loop this radar for you so you guys can get a sense of its motion. Tornado warning continues. This is just north of Peoria now. The strongest storm is the far western storm of this whole line. It is now moving out of Peoria County into Woodford and Marshall County. Getting some reports from some spotters, so pardon me. Still a pretty good healthy hail core. Now passing through Woodford County. Cazenovia, you're about to see the hail increasing quite quickly here. We can get a good vertical scan through this too to see how healthy this storm is. It's pretty shallow. It's not a, we'll see if this updates. We're still getting higher scans and so it looks a little funky. But the hail core appears to be right around 10,000 feet. So the radar is still in the process of updating, but we are getting some hail out of it. Still a pretty good looking storm overall as far as the structure of it, and remains a concern as it moves towards Washburn at 45 miles per hour. Now the rotation in the latest scan has weakened a little bit. I'm getting a new warning here. Let me see where that's for. That is far LaSalle, northern parts of LaSalle County. So LaSalle County, your weather radios may be going off. That is due to a storm that is riding the LaSalle-Lee County line. Poses no immediate threat to areas south of Interstate 80. Might be seeing the rotation, maybe trying to tighten up here just north of Roanoke. We still have a little bit of a hook there. At the very least, I'd imagine north of Benson, you're going to be getting some very strong winds, and that'll be heading towards Rutland, Toluca, and Minung. Let me go ahead and time these out. These are all moving to the northeast at about 45. Rutland 428, Dana 432, Long Point 437. That's with Storm 1, Storm 2. Cazenovia 422, seek shelter and remain in place until the storm passes by. Washburn 426, remain sheltered until about 435. Then I think you'll be in the clear from this one. Rutland 444, remain sheltered or be prepared to seek shelter. You're not currently under a tornado warning, but that could change as these storms get closer. That's expected to be there at 444. There is some additional thunderstorms popping up to our southwest. We'll keep an eye on those. But the greatest tornado risk is going to be with this initial line of storms now moving northeast of Interstate 74. The additional storms off to our south are going to be coming in this way. We'll see if they strengthen. I would imagine they would pose, if anything, a risk of large hail and damaging winds more than an actual tornado threat. But a tornado watch continues for all of central Illinois through 9 p.m. tonight. There is the possibility, especially north of I-74, of a strong tornado or two, strong tornado being EF2 or stronger. And then there's just a little update there on our Skycam as the storm that we were monitoring is now out of frame. So tornado warning continues for Marshall, Peoria, and Woodford counties. There are two storms of interest within this same warning. Two separate couplets, two areas of rotation that are going to be worth watching. I'm going to highlight them for you here. One just to the southwest of Washburn. The other, which is actually looking a little healthier now, is just north of Roanoke. So I'm going to circle these for you. There's one here and one in here. We've got two small supercells. within the same tornado warning. So tornado warning continues for about another 15 minutes. If we get an extension of a warning, we may get that extended out into LaSalle, Livingston County. So we'll see how this goes. With the Weather Service picking up on it, as it is now beginning to move, at least the first cell is now beginning to move out of National Weather Service, Lincoln's responsibility area, and into Chicago's. Again, here's the rotation area, tracking that to the northeast at 45 miles per hour for all you at home. I'm going to try to broaden this out a little bit. I would like to get Minonk in here. I think it likely is going to pass between Rutland and Minonk. Moving on towards Long Point and Dana. Rutland at 426, Dana 430, Long Point 435. Next area of rotation, further to the southwest, one that was forming just north of Peoria, also moving to the northeast at 45. Cazenovia, this one is practically there, so remain sheltered. Toluca 440. Rutland 445 with storm number 2. Dana storm number 2 at 450. Long Point with storm number 2 at 455. So it doesn't look like Rutland, Dana, Long Point will not be in the clear until around 5 o'clock. Still some broad rotation. Now seen on radar just to the southwest of Washburn. East northwest, if you will. Excuse me, west northwest of Cazenovia. I apologize. It is about about 5 miles to your northwest there. Washburn, about 7.5, 8 miles to your southwest. The next area of rotation, the one that was starting to look a little healthier, moving towards Minonk. Distance has that at about 3.8 miles or roughly 4 miles to the southwest, but moving in quickly. So you can, Minonk, I would assume that is there already. Play it safe and remain in shelter till it passes. There is some rotation there. Bringing up our velocity. You can see how the rotation is, at least in the last few scans, has started to tighten up again near Minonk. All right, this is a better environment out here for tornadoes. So we could certainly see this activity continue to tighten up a little bit, moving towards Minonk, maybe passing just to the south of Rutland, but Minonk should be seeking shelter in case this thing starts to really escalate. The other couplet, it's a little weaker now, but there it is, moving its way towards Washburn. Let me move my toolkit out of the way for you. Now, you saw the rotation as across the Illinois River, just southwest of Washburn, and then another couplet there moving into Minonk. All right, we've got two areas of rotation of interest moving on in. That's why tornado warning continues until 4:30 for Marshall and Woodford counties. Weather Service is continuing to monitor both storms. The main concern, according to the Weather Service, is this couplet right here as it's southwest of Washburn. That is the storm that has more uninterrupted air in front of it. It is still continuing to take in some warm, humid air coming in out of the southwest here. This storm, it could occasionally be hard for tornadoes to form when they are surrounded by rain. However, we are all familiar with rain-wrapped tornadoes, so it is certainly a possibility. It is being monitored. At the very least, you're going to get some very strong winds in the Rutland area, as well as Minonk. Okay, thank you guys. Is she still out following the storm, though? If she wants to stay on it, that is fine, and she could just continue to report through phone. That would be helpful to me as well, what she's seeing. So if she wants to stay out, that is perfectly fine by me. So a couple of interesting tornado features, 2 areas of rotation that we continue to monitor across Woodford County, moving into Marshall County, and then another one moving into LaSalle and potentially onto Livingston County. Got some pictures coming in I'd like to show you. This one coming in between Metamora and Roanoke. This one was at 410. Stephanie Ellis sending us this picture. This would be the area of rotation we're monitoring now. So this was just this was about 10, 13 minutes ago. The area of rotation up in here, north of Roanoke, so there is still a wall cloud with that feature, possibly in a little bit of a funnel cloud there, so certainly some features to keep an eye on. And then further west, we've still got a little bit of a hook here associated with the storm moving towards Washburn. Again, the stronger areas of rotation, at least the stronger tornadic potential, is just off to our north. But we are still getting some well-defined rotating supercells across Woodford County. Okay, thank you guys. Okay, I've got a picture here looking north from Metamora. We still have, on this storm moving towards Washburn, we have a well-defined wall cloud possibly rotating there. A well-defined wall cloud. This is with the storm that is now moving towards Washburn. I've just got a picture sent to me. I'm going to forward that info to the Weather Service. Looking towards Washburn. And if you all have pictures you'd like to share, please feel free to post them directly to our social media pages. They will show up in our system, and I can show them with all our viewers at home what we're seeing. You know, all these storms have now moved out of the view of our cameras for the time being. So as soon as these storms get a little closer to Pontiac, we'll have a better look at them. Washburn, we still have a really good looking couplet here. In fact, this storm may be in the process of strengthening over Cazenovia. Again, it does have a well-defined wall cloud, according to a picture I just received. Storm relative velocity is showing a pretty good couplet over the Cazenovia area. Other couplet of concern over Minonk. Not as tight, not as fast, but a couplet all the same. Here's some pictures coming in now. Germantown Hills and Metamora. This was just a few moments ago. Again, you can see what looks to be a wall cloud there in the distance. The clear slot here is associated with the RFD downdraft, which could possibly enhance tornadic potential. Another image from Metamora 420. Yep, go ahead. Let's go ahead and ask Lauren and Brian to head out towards Cazenovia, north of Metamora, please. We are getting a funnel cloud report now out of Minonk. Trained weather spotters reporting a funnel cloud now halfway to the ground near Minonk. Seek shelter immediately. Minonk, the storm is on top of you. We now have a confirmed spotter report of a funnel cloud. It is halfway to the ground via the latest report. This was an image taken 7 minutes ago here. Let me bring this up to you. This was just north of Metamora of another storm, possible funnel cloud there as well. It's hard to tell from the still image, but it does look like there's enough of a smooth edge on the cloud area that we may have had a funnel cloud with the storm north of Metamora, which is now over Cazenovia. Yeah, if they can, where are they located now, Jamie? Yeah, they're going to be, best bet is to head south and east. They'll catch up to this. This storm, have them head towards then Washburn. They'll see it. So Marshall, Woodford counties, new tornado warning issued until 5 p.m. There are two couplets within this warning. We have a funnel cloud near Minonk and another area of rotation, possible funnel cloud just south of Washburn. At 4:26 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Washburn, or 10 miles north of Eureka, moving east at 40. Weather spotters reported a funnel cloud 2 miles north of Spring Bay at 4:13. So this is a continuation of the warning that we've had earlier. These two storms both have a history of producing funnel clouds. I suspect we are going to get a new warning soon for LaSalle and Livingston counties as this leading storm continues to move eastward at about 45 miles per hour. Getting good rotation here now south of Washburn. Funnel cloud sided with this. We did have a viewer picture sent in of that funnel cloud just south of Washburn. You need to remain in shelter. Minonk, remain in shelter. Washburn, remain in shelter. Roanoke, the rotation is just to your north. This warning at 4:30 is likely to be allowed to expire as it has now been replaced by this tornado warning that is now in effect until 5 p.m. We're going to track them both for you. Storm is moving now due east at 40 miles per hour. Washburn, 432. It is there now. Benson, 443. Minonk, 450. Dana, 458. Flanagan, 503. The next area of rotation, which we've had confirmed funnel cloud reports out of, this particular area is no longer tornado warned. However, I would treat it as a tornado warning. It is now moving to the northeast at 45. Dana, 432. Cornell, 446. That area of rotation is just to the southeast of Rutland. Dana, it is moving on top of you. Long Point, you could also be clipped by that second area of rotation. So tornado warning continues until 5 p.m. for Marshall and Woodford counties. Strong rotation noted on radar just south of Washburn. Showing you another picture. This was Metamora around 4:20. This is of that storm. Looking north, there's the wall cloud and what appears to be a funnel cloud more than halfway down to the ground. This picture, Kira Kaiswetter sending us this picture at 4:20. Again, keeping a very close eye on this other area of rotation that is of interest, moving into LaSalle and Livingston counties. Currently not warned, but we could see that change. This area of rotation has also had reports of funnel clouds coming out of it not too long ago. So the National Weather Service may extend that. We have two areas of rotation that we are monitoring. I'll jump back on camera here for all you at home. Two of them that we're monitoring, we've had confirmed funnel clouds out of both. Just south of Washburn, there's one area of rotation. The next area of rotation, there's just to the south and east of Rutland, just to the west-northwest of Flanagan, there's the other couplet right there. Both are moving to the northeast at about 40 to 45 miles per hour. Cornell, this is going to be there probably within the next 20 minutes or so. And Rutland, you'll have to watch out for the storm coming out of just south of Washburn. Thankfully, it is not over anywhere significantly populated at the moment, but that is the stronger of the two couplets in Woodford County. Best tornado conditions again remain north of I-74, which is where we've had our tornado warnings so far today. Pretty healthy rotation. Let me see if we can get a local road in there for people at home. It is now just east of 89 between Benson and Washburn. There's a lot of open farmland out there. A lot of farmers out there, unfortunately, getting more unnecessary rainfall. Still no update on the storm that is now pushing through into the Dana, Long Point, and Flanagan area. No new tornado warnings, but still an area of concern as far as rotation goes. And we have had some funnel clouds reported out of this as well. For the warning, we do have areas that need to remain in shelter. Minung, this is going to be there according to the National Weather Service at 4:45. Other locations include Benson, Pattonsburg, Cazenovia, and Low Point. Cazenovia, the worst of this is to your east at this point. Large hail, not a factor, but there is probably a little bit of hail embedded within this also. And the radar is in the process of updating, so we can't get a good sample of the storm's updraft. There is no additional development further west, much additional development further west. We do have some isolated stuff popping up, but that should not pose a tornado risk. There could be a severe thunderstorm risk with that activity, however, as it moves further east. This is the only warning we currently have in effect that runs until 5 o'clock. Again, tornado warning continues until 5 p.m. for Marshall and Woodford counties. Storm has a history of producing funnel clouds and wall clouds as it was moving over the Illinois River. Show you the latest storm reports. This produced a funnel cloud over Spring Bay, and we had another one taken just north of Metamora. Further north and east, I know we've got some storms moving in to the Streeter area. You are not under the risk of anything severe at the moment. These storms are not severe, no rotation indicated on radar. The strongest storms right now are moving through Woodford and into extreme southern portions of LaSalle and now into eastern portions of Livingston County. So Streeter, Grand Ridge, Ransom, all getting some rain at the moment. Nothing severe is in your area. Areas of concern: Cornell, Long Point, Flanagan, Minung, Rutland, Washburn, Roanoke, Benson. Those are the areas facing the greatest concern right now as far as severe weather goes. The rotation moving into LaSalle County looks to have weakened a little bit more, but we still have a very good healthy couplet southeast of Washburn. No new additional reports coming in. Let me take a look. We might have some more pictures coming in, however. We'll go ahead and loop this image so you can see how the storms are tracking. They are moving due east now. They have made more of a right turn. Often a good sign that the storms may be taking on a little bit more rotation when they start to make more of that move straight to the east. And so we still have some rotation. It looks like it is going to pass to the north of Benson. Storm moving east at about 35, 40 miles per hour. Toluca, the worst of this looks to be staying to your south. LaRose, you are in the clear. Washburn, the worst of this now is to your east, so you too are also in the clear. I would imagine the Weather Service is going to adjust that warning shortly, and we'll trim it back to the east a little bit. National Weather Service in Chicago is monitoring storms moving through Livingston County for a possible warning issuance. And we have more storms flaring up to the south across McLean County. These are not severe. Brief heavy downpours, loud cracks of lightning and thunder. And small hail a possibility as well. Just have them continue to see if she can keep following that cell. It is moving east. Let me give her a road. 116 to those in the studio towards Benson, and then onward to Flanagan, Jamie. Thank you. Sorry, folks, I was updating Lauren Rainson on where to head. The rotation looks to be just north of Roanoke, southeast of Washburn, between Washburn and Benson. This is once again heading towards Minonk. Minonk, you've got another one coming in. This is going to be the second one, second area of rotation. Still a good, healthy couplet there. Certainly signifying possibly a wall cloud or a funnel cloud as this approaches 117, just to the north of Benson. And then it's going to be moving out towards Minonk. And based on the latest timing, moving east at 40. Minonk, it'll be there at 449. And Flanagan, 503. Flanagan, you've got another cell on top of you now, but no warning issued for this cell. Rotation's a little weaker. Surrounded by rain. Would not be surprised if you might be getting some pretty strong winds, however, in the Flanagan area. Radar could actually be, let's get an estimate there. About 43 miles per hour. That's a little bit off the ground, Flanagan, but it's there. So you can get some strong winds being pushed down to the ground near Flanagan, out towards Long Point and Cornell. Tornado warning continues for Marshall and Woodford counties until 5 p.m. Rotation remains broad just north of Benson. We'll see if we'll get a new warning soon or an extension on this soon as it moves into the Chicago Weather Service's area of concern. And now they've just trimmed that warning back a little bit just to include, or at least trim that back to far eastern portions now of Woodford County. Woodford County are the only county included within this warning. It's mainly out near Benson and Minonk. Two areas of concern as this area of rotation just north of Benson continues to move east towards 39. We'll see if we can do a little bit more of a zoom in here for you all at home. Again, the storms further east into Livingston County currently are not warned, but there is some broad rotation just north of Flanagan right now. Meanwhile, Benson, Minonk, remain in your shelter until 5 o'clock. Let the storm pass. We are still seeing some rotation out there with that cell. Drag that down a little bit. Other areas downstream that could be impacted by this. Flanagan, if it holds, you'll have the next cell coming in that could once again show some rotation over town. And if that holds, that is then going to be moving out towards Pontiac. I'm going to go ahead and change over to, let's go ahead and switch over to Max 2 for a second while I pull up our Pontiac camera. Pontiac's probably getting some very heavy rain at the moment, along with some strong winds. So there's a look. The winds don't look terrible right now, but certainly some heavy rain. So we'll keep an eye on that as these storms move in. Once this heavy rain clears Pontiac, if there's any type of structure on the backside of this rain, we might see it on this camera. So I'll keep this camera up on my screen. Let's go ahead and bring up Max 1 for me, please. Thank you. So these storms continuing to move east. They're going to be out of our viewing area probably by 5:30 or so. There could be more coming in on the west side that we'll need to keep a close eye on. We're getting some additional development down here. The tornado risk with those storms is going to be far lower, but they could pose a risk for some hail and damaging wind gust. Still, a tornado watch continues through 9 p.m. tonight for all of central Illinois. Today is a severe weather alert day due to the potential of these tornadoes. The potential of severe weather when a lot of people are spending their Memorial Day outside. So again, heavy rain now moving into Pontiac with those cells. And we just had an alert go off, so it does not look like there was an additional warning issued just yet, but we'll keep an eye on it. Tornado warning continues for about another 17 minutes in Woodford County. And we've had numerous funnel clouds reported out of this. Here's the latest storm reports. Again, this one storm now moving towards Cornell produced a funnel cloud near Minonk. Meanwhile, the funnel that we showed you earlier from the storm that is now moving through the Benson and Minonk area produced also some additional funnel clouds across western Woodford County. No confirmed reports of a touchdown at this moment. The rotation with the cell in Woodford County appears to have weakened a little bit. And we'll continue to carry, for those in the control room, let's continue to carry this coverage until the start of our 5 p.m. show. Is that okay? Okay, thank you guys. And then we'll continue that during our newscast. But the severe threat's going to start to wind down here as these storms move further east. We can, yes. Yep. We might get some additional warnings issued during that time, but we'll play that as they come through. Still some broad rotation there southwest of Cornell. One tornado warning for Woodford County until 5 p.m. Storm has a history of producing funnel clouds. The rotation appears to have weakened a little bit, but at times had some very large cone-shaped funnels. Minonk remain in shelter as the rotation is now moving overhead. Further north for our viewers up in LaSalle County, Ransom, then out towards Dwight. No immediate threats of severe weather in your area. Some gusty winds and heavy rain, but that is it. We are still seeing some rotation southwest of Cornell, but it is not strong. We'll see if this tightens up as it moves on through. We've got a view of this storm in Pontiac, but we cannot make out any type of structures. Just a lot of heavy rain as Pontiac is within the rain for now. We'll see if we can get any structure or see anything as that moves through. But still dealing with one tornado warning. No, we'll not sign off. What I'll do is I'll sign off on Fox and then send people over to WMBD. You can continue to watch our coverage on WMBD. As at 5 o'clock, we will leave our continuing storm coverage and we will continue it during our newscast at 5 p.m. on WMBD. You can also continue to watch this. We'll keep if it's okay with those in the control room, to keep our live streams up and running. until these threats are past us. All right, please just give me, if you guys can give me a countdown, that would be helpful. Thank you. Monitoring an area of rotation, still south of Cornell, moving towards Pontiac. It is not very tight at the moment, but it is present. Okay, they can, if they want to head back, they can head back. Thank you. Monitoring some interesting features there to the west of Pontiac. We do not have a good view. It's too obscured by rain on our camera. But that couplet looks like it might be trying to tighten up. We've got a couple of areas of rotation now trying to form here near Pontiac. No new tornado warnings for the time being. But two areas of rotation that we're monitoring, one or three if you count what is ongoing in Woodford County, but that is starting to weaken. Cornell, Pontiac, we're starting to see at least a few areas of concern here. We'll see if this continues. It is moving east. Pontiac, it's on top of you now or just off to your south. And then another one passing between Cornell and Pontiac. All that moving to the east at 45 miles per hour. Sure, we can, let's go ahead and send it out to Lauren Rainson, who's out in Washburn, with one quick update with what she is seeing as the storms now begin to pull out of the Washburn area. Lauren?
Yeah.
Oh, we've lost her, sorry. Cell service is a little spotty out there, apologize. To those in the control room, if we do get new warnings issued for Livingston County, we will just continue to stay on both stations if we get new warnings issued. There are two interesting features developing near the Pontiac area, one southeast of Pontiac, another just to the south of Cornell. We'll go ahead and kind of give you a quick little forecast here as to how things are expected to play out over the next, as we go through the rest of this evening. Again, that tornado warning until 5 p.m. for eastern Woodford County. That storm is just about to move out of the area. A lot of storms that are going to pose the greatest risk for tornadoes are now moving on out. And we expect those strong storms to continue to pass eastward, but some additional storms are certainly possible out to our west this evening, but they're not expected to have much of a tornado risk. Let's go ahead and take it, send it out to Lauren Rainson, who is live out in Washburn. Lauren, what did you see?
Chris, we've been following up with these storms all afternoon, and a lot of this has been keeping to the north of Interstate 74, just as anticipated. Right now, we are in Washburn. We just have not been able to keep up with these severe thunderstorms that are now to our east-southeast, and they're continuing to drift away from us to the east. But behind me, it's just dark sky. Those were the tornado-warned storms. Once, as we've been keeping on those storms' heels, we've just been seeing nothing but broad rotation. At the most, we did see a wall cloud with these exact same tornado-producing storms, but that was back near between Laura, Princeville, that's what I want to say, Princeville, Laura, and Brimfield. That was along Interstate 74 just before 3:30 earlier this afternoon. That was the most, though, we've seen. Other than that, it's just been dark sky, very broad rotation, low-hanging clouds, and a lot of water, a lot of rainfall that these storms have been producing. Again, Washburn, we're here right now, but we are in the clear as these storms have passed off well to our east-southeast. Just like Chris, we're just not able to keep up with them.
All right, thanks a lot, Lauren. I appreciate it. Why don't you guys head on back to the station? Good work tonight. Let's go ahead and switch back over to Max 1 if we could. There is an interesting feature starting to pop up just southeast of Pontiac, noting some stronger rotation now with this storm. Two couplets, in fact, out of the same storm. So this is one that we could be looking at a new warning coming out soon out of it. We'll see if the National Weather Service picks up on it again. We're going to remain with you until 5 p.m. on WYZZ. Now, if we get a new warning, we'll continue our coverage out of this until that warning expires. But the tornado risk, the risk of these warnings is going to end probably by 6 o'clock as these storms begin to move out of our viewing area. Now, Pontiac, I would go ahead and remain sheltered, especially if you are in the south, just southeast of Pontiac. Fairbury rotation is strongest to your north. Sonneman, Campus, Cullum, Charlotte should all consider seeking shelter. We are looking at some broad rotation with that. No new warnings yet. The rotation that was near Cornell appears to have weakened. Strongest rotation is now southeast of Pontiac. Nice looking couplet there just southeast of Pontiac. We'll see if we get a new tornado warning out of that. So far, nothing. Again, you can continue to monitor our ongoing coverage over on WMBD at 5 o'clock during our 5 p.m. newscast. However, if a new tornado warning is issued for Livingston County, we're going to go ahead and remain on air for both of our TV stations, WMBD and WYZZ. Thank you. This was an image south of Benson and Minunk earlier out of that storm. Wall cloud and a possible funnel there. That storm now moving into Livingston County. Here's another image from Andrea. This was at 412 near Mossville. This was that wall cloud that we had pointed out on our Skycam. Definite lowering. A few funnels reported out of that. Still getting some good rotation just east of Pontiac. It's not as strong as some of the other couplets we have seen earlier today, but still enough to continue to that it warrants watching for at least the next few minutes. Again, we'll continue to monitor and watch these storms over on WMBD. So if you are on WYZZ coming up here in a few minutes, we are going to stop coverage on YZZ and we will continue our coverage over on WMBD. Of course, if a new tornado warning is issued, we will cut in and let you know. And this warning for Woodford County has been allowed to expire. So we're going to go ahead and just jump through around throughout central Illinois. This warning, while it is there, the National Weather Service is going to let that expire. These severe thunderstorms are going to continue to move east out through Livingston County. Still a tornado risk now for Livingston and far eastern parts of McLean. LaSalle County, the worst of that should stay off to your south. And then further to the west, we are looking at more storms coming on in, but we are not expecting the same tornado potential with those storms as they continue to head our way. Here's feature track taking these storms further east. New development is possible to the west, but we're not expecting anything severe. And we could get some isolated pop-up showers through about 8 or 9 o'clock. I suspect that if we don't see any growth with the storms that are trying to bubble up to our west, that we might see these warnings. We might see the current tornado watch, which is in effect through 9 p.m. For WMBD and WYZZ, for those wanting to watch our continuing coverage, switch over to WMBD now. For those in WYZZ, I'm your local weather authority Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates. All right, for those continuing to watch on WMBD, we're going to, as soon as our newscast starts, we'll continue here We are going to continue to stay with you here. Our newscast starts in just a few moments. And for those of you in the control room, we do not have any new warnings in effect currently. So if we want to carry the newscast on as normal, that would be fine. We'll be continuing to monitor out here in Livingston County. For those who remain tuned in, still monitoring an area of rotation in Livingston County. Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Cast first.
Hey, I'm your local weather authority, Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates. We've been monitoring and tracking severe weather all afternoon long. We're still, we have seen the warnings all drop off for now, but while I still have you, we'll let Eugene get ready. Eugene, you're fine. Take your time. We're going to be fine. We've got one storm of interest that we're going to continue to monitor. That is still showing some rotation southeast of Pontiac. We do now have a confirmed report. This is a delayed report northwest of Benson. Train spotters reporting a delayed report that there was a brief tornado touchdown earlier. Now this is out of the storm that we were tracking as it was moving east. Train spotters reported a brief touchdown. No damage reported northwest of Benson. That was out of the storm that is now over Flanagan, but as weakened. Again, there is only one storm here of any interest, and that is to the southwest of Sonneman. It is putting out a bit of rotation. Now we'll let this. Let's bring my rotation out real quick and show you how this is looking. We'll let it kind of cycle through here. But we've been seeing this for a while. So Sonneman, this is not warned at the current moment, but that still looks strong enough that it could be strengthening. And that is heading in your direction, moving to the east-northeast at about 45 miles per hour. Again, we have no current tornado warnings in effect. This one is going to be dropping off your screen here in just a moment, so go ahead and ignore it. The showers and thunderstorms that are developing off to our west, for now, not much of a threat immediately. Could evolve into a large hail and damaging wind threat, but we're not expecting anything severe. In fact, our model continues to take the worst part of the storms off to our east. We'll get some of this isolated development back to our west a little bit, and they can go on to produce some damaging wind gusts and hail if they can strengthen. So the National Weather Service is likely to continue to watch to see how those storms evolve over the next couple of hours before dropping our watch altogether. But a tornado watch continues until 9 p.m. tonight. Again, continuing to watch storms out in Livingston County, out near Pontiac for some possible rotation. We'll keep you in the loop as this continues. For now, WMBD News at 5 starts right now.